Hello, my name's Samantha. I'm 30 years old, and while I may not be very attractive, I'm definitely very financially savvy and street smart. Well, at least that's how I like to look at it, considering I came out of the divorce completely unscathed while my ex-husband is now struggling. I first met Rick at a work event. I was new at my job, feeling nervous and out of place. Rick was charming and handsome with a smile that could light up a room. He made me feel special that night, and I quickly fell for him. We started dating, and for a while, everything seemed perfect. He would take me out to fancy dinners, buy me flowers, and tell me how beautiful I was. Rick had a son, Ethan, from a previous marriage, and he introduced me to him after we had dated for only a few months. Ethan and I got along pretty well. Rick would even drop Ethan off at my place a few times when he had to go somewhere in an emergency. After 2 years of dating, Rick proposed. I was over the moon and said yes right away. Our wedding was big and beautiful, just like a fairy tale. I thought I was the luckiest woman in the world, but things changed quickly after we got married. At first, it was little things. Rick would make jokes about my weight or my clothes. He would say, "Are you really going to wear that?" Or, "Maybe you should skip dessert tonight." I tried to laugh it off. I thought that he was just saying those things as a joke and that he didn't mean to hurt me. I mean, who would purposely insult their spouse that way? But the comments kept coming and they got meaner. Other than that, Rick's work became more demanding and he seemed stressed all the time. He would come home late. Most times he would not even bother with calling me to inform me about staying out late. I would cook his favorite meals whenever I felt like he deserved a break, just trying to make things easier for him. But he would barely acknowledge my efforts. One time, I remember planning a surprise dinner for him on our anniversary. I cooked his favorite dish and set the table with candles and flowers. When he finally came home, he was on his phone the whole time and barely looked at me. He didn't even notice the effort that I had put into making the night special. It hurt so much. But I tried to brush it off, thinking maybe he was just tired. Another instance was when we went to a friend's party together. I had spent hours picking out a dress and doing my hair and makeup. When we arrived, Rick introduced me to his friend, but he commented on how I looked like a cow in my dress and laughed really hard with them about it. It was embarrassing, and I felt so self-conscious the rest of the night. The whole night, Rick ignored me and flirted with other women. I cried myself to sleep that night. I remember confronting him about his behavior a few days later when he had a day off but seemed more content spending it away from me and sitting in his office playing video games. I had had a tough day cleaning up after Ethan and pretty much stormed into Rick's office to ask him why he wasn't helping me out or even spending time with me. "We need to talk right now." "What is it? I'm busy." "Busy? You're just playing video games. We need to talk about us, about how you've been treating me." "Treating you? What are you talking about now?" "I'm talking about how you ignore me, how you insult me in front of your friends, how you didn't even care about the anniversary dinner I made for you." "Oh, that. You're overreacting. I was tired and had a lot on my mind." "Tired? You were on your phone the whole time. You didn't even look at me or say thank you. Do you know how much that hurt?" "Look, I can't be expected to praise you for every little thing you do. You're making a big deal out of nothing." "Nothing? You called me a cow at the party. You laughed at me in front of everyone. I felt so embarrassed and humiliated. And you flirted with other women all night." "Oh, come on. It was just a joke. You need to lighten up. And flirting? Really? You're going to accuse me of that now?" "It's not just about the party. It's everything. You come home late without calling. You ignore me and you treat me like I'm invisible. I'm your wife, Rick. I need you to show that you care about me. Maybe if you weren't so clingy and needy, I would." I have a lot on my plate, okay? Work is stressful. I don't have time to deal with your constant whining. Whining? Is that what you think I'm doing? I'm trying to tell you how I feel and how your actions are affecting me. I want us to be happy together, but I can't do it alone. Well, maybe you should just try harder. Maybe if you looked nicer or didn't complain so much, things would be better. That's not fair, Rick. I try so hard to make things nice for you. I cook your favorite meals, I plan special evenings, and you just brush it all off. I feel like I don't matter to you anymore. You matter, but I can't be everything for you. You need to stop being so sensitive and start understanding the pressures I'm under. I do understand, but that doesn't mean you can treat me this way. I need respect and love from you. I need you to be my partner, not just someone who shares a house with me. Respect, love. I'm doing the best I can, Samantha. If that's not good enough for you, then maybe you need to rethink what you want. What I want is for us to work together, to be there for each other. But right now, it feels like I'm the only one trying. I can't keep doing this if you won't even try to meet me halfway. Well, maybe you should stop trying so hard. Maybe you should just accept that this is how things are. Accept it? I can't accept being treated like this. I deserve better. Fine, I'll do my best to be better, but I'm telling you, I don't care enough to deal with your stupid insecurities. I don't have time for this drama. This isn't drama, Rick. This is our marriage. If I can't talk to you about my feelings, who else do I talk to about it? Whatever. Please leave the room. Now, I'm playing an important match right now. It stung to hear Rick talk to me that way. Of course, Rick did not actually try to be better. I learned to live with it, thinking that was the worst of it all. I was wrong. The worst was when Rick started comparing me to his ex-wife, Jessica. He would talk about how she was always so put together and confident. He would say, Jessica would never do that. Or, Jessica always looked so good. It hurt so much. I felt like I was always competing with her, and I was always losing. Rick's words and actions made me feel ugly and small. I started to believe that I was the problem, that I wasn't good enough. I lost confidence in myself and stopped doing the things I loved. I felt trapped in a marriage where I was constantly put down and made to feel less than. I think deep down I always knew our marriage wasn't right, but I kept hoping things would get better, that Rick would change. Rick and Jessica's divorce happened before I met Rick. From what I've gathered, they split up because they couldn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. They argued a lot about money and how they wanted to live their lives. It got to be too much for them to handle, so they decided to go their separate ways. Even though they weren't together anymore, Rick and Jessica had to stay in touch because they shared custody of their son, Ethan. Ethan is a sweet boy, but it meant that Rick and Jessica had to talk to each other and see each other sometimes. They had to figure out who was going to take care of Ethan and when. But even with that, it felt like I was the one who was always taking care of Ethan. Rick was busy with his job all the time, and Jessica was too. They were both high up in their careers, so they didn't have a lot of time to spend with Ethan. It made me sad because I knew Ethan missed his parents, but I was glad I could be there for him. Sometimes when Ethan was with us, Jessica would come over to pick him up or drop him off. It was always tense when she was around. She never liked me much. I think she blamed me for the fact that Rick was moving on from her so quickly. Hi, Jessica. Ethan's ready to go. He's just grabbing his backpack. Hi, Samantha. Nice to see you. I was just thinking it's a shame you never quite got the hang of dressing nicely, isn't it? I thought this was a nice outfit. I tried my best. Oh, bless your heart. Trying is all you can do, I suppose. Not everyone can pull off looking effortlessly good. Some of us are just naturally stylish, right? I guess so. I just want to be comfortable and presentable. Presentable? Oh, sweetie, that's a low bar. But I suppose it's all some people can manage. Anyway, how's life with Rick? Still as thrilling as ever, I bet? It's fine. We're managing. Managing? That's a funny way to put it. When we were together, it was always exciting. I guess he had to settle down eventually, even if it meant settling for less. Rick and I are doing our best. We're happy in our own way. Happy? Sure, if you call living in a constant state of mediocrity happy. I suppose it's all about perspective. But hey, at least Ethan gets to see what a real woman looks like when he's with me. I try to be a good role model for him. I don't think that makes me any less of a woman. He's my stepson who I care for more than you and Rick combined. Let's be real, Samantha. You're just playing house. Ethan knows who the real mom is, and it's certainly not you. But nice try, though. I just want him to feel loved and supported. That's what's important to me. And that's cute, really. But love and support can't make up for, well, everything else you're lacking. But you keep doing your best, Samantha. It's adorable how hard you try. Thanks, I guess. I'll keep trying. Oh, I bet you will. You have to, don't you? Anyway, where is Ethan? I don't have all day to stand here chatting. He's coming. He just needed to grab his things. He'll be right out. Good. Because honestly, the longer I stay here, the more I feel my standards dropping. Don't worry. I'm sure you're doing fine. For you, anyway. Thanks. I'll make sure Ethan's ready quickly. Wonderful. Have a lovely day, Samantha. And remember, there's always room for improvement. I'll keep that in mind. Bye, Jessica. Her words always stung, but for the sake of keeping peace, I never said anything much. I did speak to Rick about it because I hoped that he'd be able to do something, but he never said anything. He would just stay quiet and hope that she stopped. It made me feel like he didn't really care about how I felt. It was like he was more worried about keeping the peace with Jessica than standing up for me. Seeing how Rick and Jessica interacted made me realize that their relationship was still complicated, even though they weren't married anymore. They still had a lot of unresolved feelings and issues between them. It made me wonder if that was part of why Rick treated me the way he did sometimes, like I was just there to take care of things, while he focused on everything else. The first turning point of our relationship was when we had the worst fight ever. It happened one evening after Rick came home from work. He was in a bad mood and I could tell something was bothering him. I tried to talk to him, but he snapped at me, telling me to leave him alone. How was your day at work? Leave me alone, Samantha. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just trying to be supportive. I can tell something's bothering you. I said leave me alone. Can't you take a hint? Why do you have to be so mean? I'm just trying to help. You always snap at me and it's really hurtful. Oh, here we go again. You're always so sensitive. Can't you see I'm stressed? Yes, I see that, but that doesn't give you the right to treat me like this. You constantly insult me and compare me to Jessica. It's not fair. Not fair? Life's not fair, Samantha. Maybe if you were more like Jessica, I wouldn't have to compare you to her. That's so cruel. Why would you say something like that? I'm your wife. I deserve some respect. Respect? How about you earn it first? You're always whining and complaining. I have enough stress without you adding to it. I'm trying my best. I cook for you. I clean. I do everything that you expect out of me. I do everything I can to make you happy, but it's never enough for you. Oh, wow. You cook and clean. Big deal. Maybe if you didn't look so pathetic all the time, I wouldn't have to be embarrassed by you. Embarrassed by me? Is that what you really think? That I'm an embarrassment to you? Yes, I do. You never dress nicely, you don't take care of yourself, and you constantly nag. I regret marrying you, Samantha. Sometimes I wish you would just disappear. How can you say that? I've given everything to this marriage, and you treat me like I'm nothing. You never appreciate anything I do. Maybe because what you do isn't worth appreciating. I'm tired of your whining. Just leave me alone. I just want us to be happy. I want us to work together and support each other, but you keep pushing me away. Maybe because I don't want you around. You're a burden. I'm done talking about this. If that's how you really feel, then maybe we need to rethink our marriage. I can't keep living like this. Finally, something we agree on. Maybe you should rethink things. Maybe then you'll realize how lucky you are to have me. No, Rick. I think it's you who will realize how much you've lost. I'm done being treated this way. I deserve better. Good luck finding it, Samantha. You're not going to do any better than me. We'll see about that, Rick. We'll see. His words cut deep, and I felt my heart break. I realized then that things would never get better. I couldn't keep living like this, always feeling worthless and unloved. That night, after he went to bed, I stayed up and contacted a lawyer. The next day, I started the process of filing for divorce. It was the hardest decision I ever made, but I knew it was the right one. I deserved better, and it was time to take control of my life. However, once I had the divorce papers in my hand, I chickened out. I felt like I had made that decision in anger, and I didn't want to ruin things for Rick. He was going through a hard time, and divorcing him would mean kicking him and Ethan out of the house. I didn't want that for them, so I hid the divorce papers and forgot about them until a month later, which was when the second turning point happened and the final straw of our relationship broke. Just to give you a little background first, Rick worked as a marketing executive at a big company. His job was to come up with ideas to help companies sell their products. He was really good at it and worked long hours to make sure everything was just right. The award he won was a big deal in his industry. It was for a campaign he had come up with that was really successful. He had spent weeks working on it, coming up with ideas and meeting with people to make it happen. When he found out he won the award, he was so happy and proud of himself. I remember how excited he was when he told me about it. Guess what? I won the award, the big one for the marketing company. Really? That's amazing. Oh my God, tell me all about it. So remember that campaign I was working on for weeks? The one where I came up with all those new ideas to sell the product? Well, it was a huge success. The company loved it, and it got so much attention. That's fantastic. I know how hard you worked on that. You must be so proud. I am. It feels so good to be recognized for my ideas and all the effort I put in. And there's going to be an event next week to give out the award, and I can bring a +1. That's wonderful. You really deserve it, Rick. You've been working so hard. I really did. I stayed late at the office, had so many meetings, and kept pushing for the best ideas. It all paid off. This award is a big deal in the industry, and it's going to look great on my resume. I'm so proud of you. It sounds like you put everything into this project. Absolutely, and the best part is everyone at the company is so impressed with what I did. It feels amazing to be in the spotlight. You deserve it. All that hard work is finally getting the recognition it deserves. And the event is going to be huge. Lots of important people will be there. It's a great chance to network and show off a little. It sounds like it. I know how much this means to you. You should enjoy every moment of it. I plan to. It's not every day you win an award like this. It's a big step in my career, and I want to make the most of it. Plus, I think it's a sign that all the hard work I've been doing is paying off. It definitely is. By this point, Rick and I were skating on thin ice in terms of our relationship. We still had our good moments, but most of the time we were cautious when talking to each other. Neither of us apologized for that huge fight, which, if I'm being very frank, I didn't see why I had to apologize. I figured that the conversation I had with Rick about his award was the start of us going back to normalcy. I was relieved, and I found myself genuinely smiling for the first time in a long time. But then came the company event where he got the award. I got dressed up to go with him because he told me that he had a +1 that he could take with him to the event. I look forward to interacting with his colleagues and being able to be proud of him in front of everyone. But when Rick walked into the room and saw how I looked for the event, he laughed at me. "Rick, how do I look? I tried really hard to dress up for the event." "Oh, Samantha, you've got to be kidding me. You think you're coming to the event looking like that?" "What do you mean? I thought I looked nice. I really wanted to make you proud." "Nice? You look ridiculous. I can't believe you thought you'd be my +1. There's no way I'm taking you to an event like this." "But you said you could bring a +1. I thought you meant me." "You? No way. I need someone who won't embarrass me. I'm taking Jessica. At least she knows how to look good and not make a fool of herself." "Jessica? But why her? I'm your wife. I wanted to support you." "Because, Samantha, Jessica isn't ugly and embarrassing like you. She knows how to dress up and fit in with important people. You just ruined the night for me." I can't believe you're saying this. I tried so hard to look nice for you. I just wanted to be there for you." "Well, your best isn't good enough. I can't afford to be seen with you looking like that. Jessica will make me look good, not drag me down." "Rick, that's so cruel. I love you. I wanted to share this special moment with you." "Oh, please save the tears. I don't need your drama right now. Just stay home and do whatever it is you do. Jessica and I will handle the event." "I just wanted to be a part of your success. I thought you'd want me there." "Yeah, well, you thought wrong. This is too important for me to let you mess it up. Jessica is a better fit for the night. Just deal with it." "I can't believe you're treating me like this. I thought we were a team." "A team? Hardly. Look, I need to get ready. Just stay out of my way tonight. I don't have time for this nonsense." I felt crushed. I thought dressing up for his big event would make him proud of me, but instead, he made me feel worthless. His words hurt more than I expected. I felt so embarrassed and small. I couldn't stop crying thinking about how he chose Jessica over me. I tried so hard to support him, but it wasn't enough. I felt like everything I did was wrong. It was like Rick didn't care about my feelings at all, and it made me question if he ever really loved me. After Rick left for his award event with Jessica, I felt a mix of hurt and anger swirling inside me. It wasn't the first time he had put me down, but this time was different. This time I wasn't going to let him get away with it. I brought out the divorce papers that I had filed, and after a bit of research, realized that they were still valid. I could serve them to Rick, so that was what I was going to do. In those 4 hours while Rick was at the event, I acted swiftly. I packed all his belongings, clothes, gadgets, everything, into boxes and moved them to a storage unit. I changed the locks on the doors and secured my finances. This house was mine, legally mine. I had inherited it from my grandparents, and Rick's name was never on the deed. Next, I had evidence of Jessica's true nature. She was out to destroy Rick. I found out about Jessica's plans accidentally while looking for some old photos on Rick's laptop. He had an old laptop that he rarely used anymore, and one day, out of curiosity, I decided to go through it. I thought maybe I could find some pictures of us from when we first started dating. When I opened the laptop, I saw Jessica's email account was still logged in. I knew Jessica had used it when they were married. I know it's not right to snoop, but I needed to understand why she was treating me so badly. I searched through her emails for a few minutes without finding anything, and then there it was. Emails and messages where Jessica was bad-mouthing Rick to her friends, and colleagues. In those messages, Jessica was saying terrible things about Rick, trying to sabotage his career. She was jealous that he had moved on with me, and she wanted to ruin him. My heart sank reading those words. It hurt to see how much hatred she had towards Rick, and how she was using me to hurt him. I printed out these messages knowing they would be a bombshell. When Rick returned home, he was shocked to find the house empty of his things. "What in the world is going on here, Samantha? Where are my things?" "They're gone. I moved them out." "You moved them out? Are you out of your mind? What gives you the right to do that?" "I've had enough. I won't let you treat me like this anymore." "Treat you like what? You're the one who's been impossible to live with. I just went to one event without you. Here, I filed for divorce." "Divorce? You can't be serious." "I am being very serious." "Huh. Oh, good. Maybe now I can finally have some peace." "It's not funny. I know about Jessica's plan to ruin you." "Jessica? What are you talking about?" "I'm sure she was at your event only to spread lies about you. She wants to destroy your reputation." "What? That's not possible. Jessica wouldn't do that." "She already has. Here, take a look at these emails and messages I found. They're dated as being from this year itself. She's been planning this for a while." No, you're lying. Jessica wouldn't betray me like that." "She already has, Rick. And now you're going to lose everything because of her." "Samantha, please, take me back. I'll change, I promise. Just don't leave me like this." "It's too late, Rick. You've crossed a line and I can't forgive you." "Please, Samantha, I love you. I need you. I'll do anything." "You should leave, Rick. This is no longer your home." "Fine. You'll regret this, Samantha. You'll see." "Maybe, but I won't regret standing up for myself. Goodbye, Rick." "You'll regret this, Samantha. You'll regret this." The emotions I felt were a whirlwind. There was satisfaction in taking back control of my life. There was sadness for the dreams I had of a happy marriage. There was relief that I had finally stood up for myself. And underneath it all, there was a flicker of sadness for what could have been. If only Rick had treated me with respect. Rick was devastated to learn about Jessica's schemes to ruin his reputation behind his back. The emails I found painted a clear picture of her spreading lies and undermining his work in the industry. Jessica definitely did use the work event as a means to spread even more misinformation, because Rick quickly began getting looked at weirdly at work. His colleagues and clients started questioning his integrity. Rick got called by HR into a meeting where he was confronted with evidence of malpractice and company policy violations. The evidence had gotten out before it reached the company HR, which was why people were treating Rick differently. Rick claimed that none of that was true, but the HR manager did not want to risk having an employee who was no longer trusted around by the other employees or the clients. The manager still kept Rick, but told him that if the allegations did not clear out in a month, he'd be let go. Rick struggled to salvage his career and reputation, but the damage was done. He faced repercussions at work, including being passed over for promotions and losing important clients. His once promising career began to unravel, and he became increasingly isolated. Eventually, he simply could not work in that company, and he was forced to quit. Jessica's vendetta did not only affect Rick professionally, but also personally. Their co-parenting relationship deteriorated further as mistrust and resentment grew between them. Because of Rick's lack of a job and his new reputation, Jessica managed to get full custody of Ethan, and that only further devastated Rick. Meanwhile, the divorce proceedings were emotionally taxing but necessary. Rick initially fought against the divorce, refusing to accept the end of our marriage. However, the evidence I presented, coupled with his neglect and cruelty towards me, made it clear to the court that our marriage was irretrievably broken. And eventually, he reluctantly signed the divorce papers, and we went our separate ways legally. For me, life after the divorce was a revelation. I felt liberated from the constant stress and emotional abuse I endured during our marriage. With the support of friends and family, I focused on healing and rebuilding my life. I rediscovered my passions and pursued new opportunities without the weight of Rick's expectations and criticisms holding me back. I started a small business that had always been a dream of mine, and it flourished. I surrounded myself with positive influences and learned to prioritize my happiness and well-being. The contrast between my life before and after the divorce was stark. I was no longer living in the shadow of someone else's expectations, but embracing my path with confidence and strength.